Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Fix this a second. Today I have another beer from Fonta, Flora Brewing Company out of Nebo, North Carolina. This is part of their Torches series, which is interesting because I thought that it was basically just a mixed culture saison, and each one was going to have a bunch of random, foraged herbs and whatever you want to call it in it, which that was the case for the first two. I wasn't a big fan of the first one. Second one was pretty good. But then this is Torches Volume 3, and it's a completely different base beer. So this is not a mixed culture saison / wild ale. This is a stout, 7.5 ABV. It says strong stout brewed with mullein, nettle, rose petals, catmint, and peppermint. Yeah, so I don't know how to feel about this. I've not had this before. Peppermint sounds not good, and all those other things. Rose petals just doesn't seem like it works with the stout, but I'm going to give it a fair shot because a lot of the times when they do these weird things, I actually do like them. Every once in a while, it's just too much for me and I won't like it, but I'm hoping that's not the case with this one, so we're going to crack it open and give it a go. See, it pours a pretty dark brown color with a nice tan head. It's dissipating pretty quickly, so I'm guessing this is fairly carbonated. So it actually doesn't smell that bad. I do get the peppermint, which I don't know what catmint is. At first I thought it said catnip, and I thought that was really weird, and then it said catmint. I have no idea what that means. But I do get peppermint or some sort of mint character. But there is a lot of nice dark roast and like licorice character. So it at least smells like it's going to be mainly a stout with just hints of these other things added, which, if that's the case, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah. I do get that mint character, but honestly, it's probably even less in the flavor than it is in the aroma. To me, it almost comes off more as oxidation than mint, and I'm sure that it is mint and not oxidation because this beer is not that old, and it's in a can, and I know that there's mint in this, so I'm sure it's not oxidation. But if I had this, I would think it was just, I honestly wouldn't even think there was mint in it. I would just think it, because to me, oxidation is like minty. I don't know. I've heard people disagree with me and say they don't get that, but to me, it's definitely a thing. It almost has like I said black licorice before, but there's also something that comes off that's coming off as like chicory. I mean, there's definitely some herbal components to this. I'm not gonna lie, but it has a really nice underlying like roasty, really dark, bitter chocolate character. that, to me, this kind of reminds me of like a bigger version of their like Darwin's Forehead or Brackish oyster stout. It's just anytime they make a stout, other than the big barrel aged imperial stouts that they've been doing recently, and those are always dry too, but especially these lower ABV stouts, they're always super super dry and roasty, which I'm all about. So I think it's really cool, and this is not not any different than any of those other ones when it comes to the base of it, at least. I do get a minty character, and then something else that is just like a kind of generic herbal flavor. But overall, I mean, it's still just like a nice roasty stout. So, and that's the other thing. Like Todd usually is very good about adding these things, but it not being like way too heavy-handed, where it's just like that's mainly what you taste, and you don't want it. This still mainly just tastes like a stout, which is good, and then it has these other little elements to it, but they're pretty minor. And I would be lying if I said I could pick out anything other than it just being generically herbal and a little bit of a mint character. That being said, though, on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm just going to give this one a drink because I just don't foresee a reason that I would ever buy this again. Only because if I just want like a good, like middle of the road ABV stout, there's other things that are just as good out there that don't have this weird stuff in it. Like from Bell's, I could get Kalamazoo Stout or something like that. But even from these guys, like I would rather have Brackish. Like I know that has oysters in it, but that's like completely mild, and it has a really nice smoky flavor. Or like Darwin's Forehead, I think is another good one that they do. It's a porter, but still the same type of thing. And this higher form of consequence that they did with Old Hickory, that was only a one-off, but still I have them. I have some bottles here. I could open one of those, So, if I wanted even if it was specifically from Fauna Flora, if I just wanted a non-giant barrel-aged or giant imperial stout from these guys, there are other options that I would probably prefer over this. So there's really no reason for me to buy this again. That being said, I think it's really well made, and to make a stout with all these weird things in it and still make it drinkable for someone who doesn't really know much about those weird things or cares in or likes those weird things, I think they did a very good job. But that's kind of what I've come to in a lot of these reviews now is even if I think they did a really good job, it's not just that there's other breweries that make a similar product that's better, which I'm not saying that there is or there isn't. It's this brewery itself has similar products that are better, so there's really no reason for me to buy this one. So that's kind of where I'm falling with this, but it's still very, very well made. And if you like this type of thing with all these weird herbal type additives in a beer, I would highly recommend checking this out because I think they did a really good job with it for what it is. It's just not necessarily in my wheelhouse or something that I would go back and try to get again. That's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.